Okay. Kayla got the 111, the 411. Sipping lemonade, throwing light shade. Okay. You been rolling around, shit, and roll it up. Let her roll it up. Break it down like a bird, shit would never rust. Shit would never rust. That's the real on the real, are you serious?
Hey everybody, it's Kayla Got the 411. I'm back for another Whopping Wednesday episode. This episode this week is for us ladies, so make sure you get you a pen and pad because I have Hedusa Divine here with me. She's joining us for Whopping Wednesday. We're going to be having girl talk. She's going to be giving y'all tips on how to help you master head so you can stop biting on your man penis, because I know many of you out there are. So how are you doing, Hedusa?
I'm absolutely amazing, Kayla. I am absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I super appreciate it.
I'm happy to have you. Like I said earlier, this is a no judgment zone. I don't judge nobody over here, okay? I'm all for women. You get your coin how you want to get your coin, okay? And you are very professional. You're probably one of the most professional people that slid in my emails, honestly. And we got us all set up to pretty much talk about your book, what you do, and also help many ladies out here too, because you are a master oralist. And tell us more about yourself.
Yes. So again, thank you so much, Kayla, for having me on your show. So hello, everyone. My name is Hedusa Divine. I am actually, just in generally, I'm a jack of all trades. So when it comes to manifesting consistent financial abundance, I'm able to really blend like sexual energy and creative energy with self-employment, with entrepreneurship, that when all combined really just work and flow with one another. I have multiple streams of income, and I'm really able to just create, maintain, and sustain everything together, right? Yes, it's a flow for me, 1,000%. So I actually have two main sides of Hedusa. In reference to my dick sucking side, I'm a master oralist. I'm a dick sucking expert. I'm a sloppy toppy connoisseur, right? And I love to create solo content, and I love to create content with my partner. I have a partner of 9 years. So I have that side, and then I have the other side where I'm a webcam performer, and I really identify as like a digital fantasy, a cyber seductress, and a virtual sexual energy performer. Clearly, right, I have a mask on, right? So as a mask performer, I also identify as a muse and a source of inspiration, not only for myself, but for others that are inspired by my different creations. So I love to write, I love to teach about self-empowerment and becoming your own version of a master oralist in one book series, and then a top earning webcam artist and performer in my other book series. And I have authored 3 different books last year in 2020 alone. So my first book series is entitled The Official Blowjob Handbook Series. I have 2 different volumes in that, which I'm sure we're definitely going to dive into today. And then I have a totally different book series, which is called The Official Webcam Handbook Series. And I have 1 volume in that. So all of my products, all of my services, my social media, everything is available in one spot, which is my website, iamhedusa.com, which we'll talk about more in this interview. So thank you again, Kayla, for having me.
First of all, come on, honey, with that pitch and then lay down. Like, I like the fact that you brand yourself. I feel like I always tell people that you are your brand. So if you get on here, even let's say you milk cows for a living. If I ask you what you do, you need to be able to break it down, like one by one, and make
it fascinating.
Like, wow.
Reel the people in. You feel me?
Exactly.
That's what you got to do.
So your name, Hedusa Divine, I like that name. It's very catchy. Like, how did you even get that name?
Yeah, so Hedusa is actually a mind, a body, and soul embodiment, and it's an ancient energetic archetype overall. So I get deep with it, Kayla. I get deep with it. Okay.
I know. So, I read your book. Where you talk about the mind and physical and spiritual, and I was like, my gosh, like
you didn't even know that could be all put together, did you?
I did.
So yeah, the origin of Hedusa is actually, it's a brainchild. So that was manifested by myself and my long-term partner throughout our journey of engaging within the art of sucking dick. So there's actually 3 different ways to say my name, and you actually chose the one that I actually identify with the most. So the first way to say it is Hedusa, right? It's a play on goddess Medusa, which is the one that I go by and identify with the most because it represents the assertive way that I suck dick. It's like a head monster. right? So that was the main entendre that I go by, right? But then the second one is Head USA, which is what I get often a lot as well. They're like, yes, Head USA, come to the stage. And I'm like,
Wow.
I actually go by Hedusa, but you're not wrong. So with this one, this brings out more of my digital fantasy side, where I identify as that virtual master oralist and dick sucking scientist. And I really give like a one of a kind, top notch A1 head, right? So since I am a mass performer, I am seen as really a mystery lady, right? And I'm located somewhere in the USA where I may be very near to you, actually, but exactly where and how, you'll never know, right?
Yeah,
So
you talk about that in your book too. I went to that later about how you protect yourself, and then moves to the next question on the purpose of your mask. So I can't really see your mask that well. Can you like kind of push the camera? Okay, there we go. So what is the whole purpose of the mask? Because I read the book, I know, but for others who are watching.
Got you. So thank you so much for asking this, by the way, right? So I am clearly, well, not clearly, but I also am a webcam performer, which I said in the beginning. And within the webcamming industry, I identify as what I've coined as a webcam artist and performer, right? So instead of the traditional webcam model, the cam girl. And then also, I again fuse those creative and sexual energies together. And I really think and believe that they're two sides of the same coin. And in working with that type of perspective, I actually identify as a sexual energy performer instead of like a sex worker, because I really find that to be more of an empowering
classic,
girl. It's really more empowering, and I'm all about empowerment when it comes to this, instead of just like working like a hamster on a wheel, right? So I mainly focus, with that being said, as a webcam artist and performer and as a sexual energy performer, I mainly focus on funneling my creative and sexual energies from within outwards. So I really identify and see myself as a channel or as a vessel to express that energy through myself physically, right? Through my specializations, through my performance routines that I do on cam and in my content. So this is where the muse part really comes into play, because my focus isn't about hair, it's about makeup. I got eyelashes on, because I gotta have the lashes, but it's not about makeup, hair, lingerie, what toys I have. It's really just about the experience that I create as the mass performer, right? So I really just saw a need to share about this approach that you can be a mass performer, and to help inspire and catalyze those that are interested, those that need encouragement and guidance to start their own journey in the sex industry. So specifically on cam, not many other performers wear masks, right? So this naturally just sets me apart and piques the interest of those that enter my room on my different sites that I work on. So as that cyber seductress, again, I really have a seductive gift of gab, right? If you're if you hear the sound of my voice for just like, I would say like 10 to 15 seconds, right? You'll just be hooked, right? And you'll just be wanting to engage with me, right? Because it's like, who is this lady with the mask on? Like, that's just really, really appealing, right?
And you have mask too, because that's different from some of the videos that I've seen. So you have
this is my interview mask, right? I'm not performing in this mask on cam. It's hot, it's latex, like I'm not, and I cam for like, at a time I cam for like 5 to 7 hours at a time. So this is like my interview mask, I would say. On cam I have more of like a breathable mask.
Yeah, that's your professional mask.
Yeah,
so I know you actually, for people are probably curious, like, okay, how do you date doing this profession? But you have been in a relationship for 9 years, so clearly that's working okay. He supports what you're doing and stuff like that. So were you with him before you got into the industry?
Yes, I was. And he's actually the one who put me onto the webcamming industry. He is like, and it's really unique. It's really different, because a lot of people have their partners adverse to what they do in the sex industry. They're like, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. No. But he was just like, hey, this is an industry that I think you would be really good in, because like, how you have a partner and you sex them, you send them pictures and videos and everything like that. I've always just had a niche for doing the head, right? So I would suck. I'm really kinky. So I know in some of my videos,
specialty, girl. Head is yours, and you capitalize.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I'm really kinky, so I suck like cucumbers. I don't know if you've seen some of my videos, cucumbers, dildos, all that. So I would just practice. Like I'm a really passionate type of person. So I would just practice. I would send him videos, I send him pictures and all that kind of stuff. And he was just like, there's this industry I would love to tell you about. And he introduced me to the concept of webcamming, what it was, how to actually do it. And before he did, you know, I would go to the porn sites and I would see it, but I didn't know how to sign up for it. I didn't know what it specifically was. I didn't know how it worked. But once he put me on, I ran with his advice. I created my own approach that works best for me. And I figured out a way to earn a substantial amount of money through camming on a consistent basis. So that's when he saw me do that, when he saw me run with it, he was like, you should write a book about this as well. So that's when I wrote a book about it.
Kind of like your man, but you're kind of like
My
your
guide, like a guide. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think I've never heard of nobody like that is having somebody that's just so supportive.
Hey, he's a Scorpio. Scorpios get down to get down.
The horror stories about people that's in sex industry where kind of like the guy was kind of pimping them out almost, like had them doing things that and was kind of taking all the money. I can't remember which person that did an interview like that, but it seems like he's supportive. Y'all getting the bag together. Straight up.
And it's kind of like the Oprah and Stedman type of not relationship, but dynamic, right? It's like I'm out in front. He's still supportive and he's helped guiding me and like just like refining the things that I do, but he's more of like the background and I'm more up front.
I don't know about Oprah and Stedman because we don't really know what Stedman do for a living. What does Stedman do?
You'll never know.
That's the mystery about it. So
the mystery.
I have no idea. You know, they hearing you say webcam artists, they're probably thinking porn stars. So how do you tell the difference between a webcam model, a webcam creative like yourself, or artist? Which one do you prefer?
I like webcam performers fine because that's like the general term people identify as. They're like, oh, okay, I know what that is. An artist, I don't know. But performers.
And a webcam, you know, porn star. So how do you like determine the different three? For people who are watching, like, okay, she's a porn star.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, so this is actually a great question. No one's actually ever asked me this question before. And I like to just start out with some similarities just so you guys can, you know, grasp that they're not that different, but then I'm going to go into two main differences, right? Okay. So I like to start with saying that they both are performing in front of a camera, right? Technically. They both include you getting paid for your specializations and your performance routines as well. They both include a certain level of skill, a certain level of acting, performing, and creating an experience, right? Now, I see two main differences, though, between these two career paths in the sex industry. So difference number one, I would say, is the type of engagement that is done with the camera, right? So as a porn star, you're usually engaging with the person or the people that you're sexually performing with, right? So you may look at the camera. I'm sure you've seen porn where people all up in a camera like that from here to there, but that's not the main focus, right? Now, as that webcam performer, specifically a solo webcam performer, you're looking into the cam pretty much like this, right? And you are performing as if you're physically engaging with the person on the other side of the cam, right? So there's somewhat of an exception if you're performing with another person, like on cam, there might be 1, 2, 3 people, usually not more than 3, but it's not really that different, right? The main point of webcam is to fulfill the desires, the fantasies, the fetishes of the customer, and they pay to play for you to do just that, right? That's the main difference. That's the first difference. Difference number 2 is how the money is earned, right? So as a porn star, you're being recorded. You're performing live for the camera one time. So you're paid as a content creator. Well, you know, one time to time, obviously, right? You can have multiple bookings, but you're paid as a content creator for performing in that specific recording. And then the recording is either posted on porn sites for free or clip sites where you get that residual income, which it's a great, like getting that residual income is great, might I add, honestly. Now, as that webcam performer, when you're performing live on cam, you're performing in real time, you're engaging with the customer and or client in real time, and you're making money while you're performing in real time. So you usually aren't being recorded, even though some customers do this, right? Without asking for your permission. And then you just go on a porn site and then there you are. There's your whole session you just did, right? In all its glory. But anyways, you usually aren't being recorded. Whereas in being a porn star, it's required for your content to be recorded, to be later viewed and sold on different sites.
So most porn, because sometimes you see like porn on different types of websites, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, do they get an actual fee for that if it gets on Pornhub, XX videos?
It depends on the contract. You want to do that. Like honestly, people need to know more about business before getting into this industry, because a lot of people can get burned and just like manipulated and taken advantage of. Like I see this industry very similar to the music industry. I really do. It's kind of like the undercurrent side of the music industry. Like the music industry is all out in the open, and the sex industry is like, because they're both creative, they're both artistic, right? So just like in the music industry, people don't know what they're doing. They sign contracts. They got to do this. They got to sell all these. It could be the same thing. It could be the same thing in the sex industry. And it's like,
they probably like $300 for like that one gig, but the person is posting it everywhere. They're getting
the company posts the video and they're getting that residual. But it's like, if you set up with the company, hey, I need some of that residual, I need a percentage off of that. That's the way you want to do that, not just the one and done. Because you get that $300, okay, it's like a stimulus check. You get that, and then what? Then what? What's your right? You want that residual. You want that passive income to follow suit as well. So you got to think like a business.
Girl, you need to make a business book, because I'm really into like learning about different fields. It don't matter what it is. And when I find like how much like porn star, that's why I was like, okay, OnlyFans, these girls are getting money. Like they're making more money than porn stars who are getting $250, and they go on about their business. And then the person who shot the video, like they banking off of you.
Right. You do not want that to happen. You don't want that to happen.
So how do you look at even the OnlyFans? Like, do you look at it as a come up? Because so many women are going on there posting their feet, they getting a check, and they're able to like survive. They don't ever have to work a 9 to 5 again. Do you think it's like a better, safer way for women who wanted to get into it but didn't know how to?
Yeah, so I say, and I know you asked about like misconceptions and stuff, so I'll touch on this a little bit. With OnlyFans, it's different, because a lot of people get into it and they don't know what they're doing, right? They just think they're going to make an OnlyFans, make some videos, post some pictures, and then they're just going to get a check, right? And it doesn't necessarily work like that. With OnlyFans, it's literally an independent site. It's an indie site, and it's a payment processor. So it pretty much acts as the in-between between you and the customers who engage with you, right? That's it. They don't generate traffic for you. They don't funnel people towards your page. They don't promote and market you. They're literally just an indie site and a payment processor. That's it.
So you have your own fan base.
Right. You have to have your own fan base. You have to bring the people to the site to engage with you and subscribe to you. Right. So it's like, you're not just going to make it and then all of a sudden you just come up. Right. You have to put in the work. You have to get those. If you have connections with people that have, the successful OnlyFans, they can promote you. You could do sale for sale or whatnot. However, it's like, if you're starting at square one, you don't have anybody to promote you, you don't have any connections, then you have to do it yourself. You have to make your own social media accounts. You have to get your name out there yourself in order to get subscribers. And then you have to keep the subscribers enticed to continue to resubscribe month to month.
That's like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And that's why it's like, you see it, you hear about it in all these songs and the media and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's the upside of it. That's like the goal side of it, the ideal side of it. But what are the steps that it takes to get there actually? What are they? I'm a whistleblower. I'm gonna let you know it's not all it's cracked up to be. Like, you have to put in the work. You have to have connections. You have to promote and market yourself in order to. Now, if you have a niche, if you have something that's very unique, you're skilled at something, you're a master at something, it's easier for you to promote yourself. It's easier for you to build your clientele instead of just doing everything and people are like, what is she known for? I don't know. She just does this and this and that. You want to like niche yourself, right? But it's like, you have to understand that it's not just like you make it and you get a bag. You have there's a process.
Good advice, ladies, because everybody like, I'm gonna make an OnlyFans. Okay.
You can, yeah, that's
work
fine.
hard. You can, it's gonna sit there until you like
right.
So when was the moment for you where you was like, okay, when it comes to this head game, like I'm a master at this, I'm fire, I need to capitalize off this. Like when was the moment you knew like I'm really a headmaster?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that moment came when I saw on NSFW Twitter, right? I don't know if you're on NSFW Twitter. And NSFW Twitter is pretty much, it's not suitable for work Twitter, right? That's when I got into this field, and I made a Twitter back in December 2019. And I just saw that there really wasn't an established standard for dick sucking. The standard that was in place was very low. It had no organization, no direction, no type of educational aspect to it. Yeah. It was honestly just a free-for-all, honestly. It was just people doing whatever. And I just wanted to create different techniques that a lot of us do perform, right? But we don't have names for them. Besides, I think one name now is like the Gok 3000. It's really like the superhead move. I don't know how old you are, but do you know about superhead?
Yeah, I'm 29.
Yeah. Oh, you're 29.
I used to sneak and watch her.
So like now, like the younger generations are calling it the Gok 3000. I'm like, that's a superhead move. Superhead needs to go get her royalties. But anyways, I just really like saw a need to change this, like to present a standard, present a level of organization and just direction, right? As well as create that alternative way to engage with the art of sucking dick. And I took it upon myself to do just this, right? Even though a big part of engaging in this art form is the entertainment value that's provided, I wanted to go more of the educational route, and to create different terms, create different techniques, name different techniques that we all do that just don't have names to it.
We don't know. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, we don't know.
Like, you don't know
like that.
Like, know that he likes in his eyes roll back, but you got some really dope names for it. Like, you're bobbing for dick.
Bobbing.
I was like, oh my God. Like, and then I think you said that's actually like a more skilled one, right?
Well, that one, I think maybe what you're talking about is the straw suck one, where you're sucking in. Is that the one you're talking about?
So I was like, I was very intrigued because you gave it names so that people who actually get your book, get your video tutorial, the name matches what they're doing. So
and then you can explain, you can understand how to do it yourself, and then you can explain it to somebody else. That's the thing, because a lot of people, they do this stuff, but they can't explain it to someone else. And it's like, you really know if you're a master, if you're an expert in something, if you can explain it to somebody else. So that's what I wanted to do, was help you, give you those words, give you those techniques, give you those vocabulary terms. So then it could, word of mouth is still the most powerful promo and marketing skill, right?
It sure is.
So people be like, hey girl, I got this book, her name's Hedusa, she gives all these different things. You can make it a sex party, whatever you want to do with it, but just like make it a casual in a way, but make it write it in a way where it's like, I'm giving you the components, right? I'm giving you all the different components that you can have. You combine it in the way that you want. So then you're empowering your own self, you're doing your own journey, and you're becoming your own version of a master oralist. In my book, I'm not saying you have to suck dick like Hedusa or you're a failure. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is here are the different aspects, here are the different components. You can combine them in a different way every time you do it. Every single time you do it. It's like a innumerable amount of combinations that you could do with, and I give 8 different techniques in the official blowjob handbook series, like 8 in volume 2, and I give 3 in volume 1. So it's like, with those, it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember the story, the 5 loaves and 2 fish, that type of story. It's kind of like that type of idea in the Bible. Where it's like she's like, girl, you switched all the way over. What are you talking about? But yeah, so it's kind of like that. If y'all,
I like the fact that you brought that up, because people are like watching like this.
Right. They're like, what is she talking about? But it's like you manifest your own type of technique, your own type of experience within it. And then you're like, hey, I feel good. Hey, I trust myself more. I love myself more. I can see myself empowering myself more and embracing my own personal power. And that's what I wanted to do instead of promoting the same narrative of, oh, hoes, thoughts, I use this chick to suck my dick, I throw her away. Like that narrative is played out. We're not doing that no more. Just
It's
put that to
almost
the side. It's
like,
old.
like you're teaching women how to like be in control. Like you're in control
Power.
about
You
spirit,
are.
mentally, using dick sucking that way. Like you got real like deep in that particular chapter of your book, where you pretty much just giving them advice and saying, you got it, feel good about yourself. Even when you start talking about deep throat, because I think we all, sometimes you start gagging, you feel like you're gonna throw up. And I think a lot of women don't really enjoy doing it because you don't want to throw up on his doggone penis.
Right.
But they really advice on how to just, just relax your muscles, relax your mouth, and everything will be okay. And I was like, wow, like it really is a women's empowering book, but it also helps your man too, because we hear a lot of men, especially in my industry, a lot of men that get on these shows and they just dog women out. Sucking dick is trash and things like that. And I think, like, honestly, a lot of women, you just don't know. And I honestly had to learn that how you may suck one guy's dick, you may not suck the other guy's dick the same way because the different sizes, they're different. So it may work for him, but it may not work for him.
Right.
So how would you give advice for women who, like, they had one guy, he loved the way they were sucking dick, but then they get over to this guy and he don't like it. Like, you're biting his dick up pretty much.
Right. I would say you just have to really connect with yourself first, right? So I know you mentioned like the mind, the body, the spirit. So that's, I write about and teach about sucking dick from like a holistic perspective. So before we even get into the physicality of it, you have to get your own self right. You have to get your own attitude right? Because if you don't do that, whatever you physically do outside of yourself, it's just going to be a misstep, or it's not going to be as authentic as you want it to be, right?
Hey y'all, let me give you the 411 on Meraki Cologne. Meraki Cologne has cosmetics, waist beads, custom bracelets, and apparel. So many great items for you to choose from, and my favorite is the vegan-based lip gloss. Use code Kayla411 to get 10% off right now.
So with that being said, getting yourself aligned first, getting your own things together, then you can go outside and engage with the person. Now, when you physically engage with the person, right, you have to understand that, yeah, there are different ways that you do the techniques. That's why I have the book written how it is, because it's like, let's talk about, and you guys have to get the book to get this, but let's talk about the straw suck, right? It's pretty much where you go down, you blow out, you come up, you suck in, right? You're literally sucking his dick like a straw. So let's say somebody has like an average size dick, you can go all the way down on it, deep throated, all that kind of stuff, and then come back up, right? Then you have this other dick that's like huge, right? You can only go halfway down on it. You're pretty much still doing the same technique, but you're adjusting and tweaking it just a little bit because you're not deep throating it, but you're still blowing out, you're still sucking in, you're still generating that spit. So it's like you fine tune it to that specific dick, and he thinks, oh my gosh, she really knows my dick. Oh my gosh, she's taking care of this and that. And it's just like you're just in flow with it because you're in flow with yourself and you've gotten yourself together first, right? It's like, think of it kind of like you're giving from an overflowing cup instead of your cup being empty and you're engaging with somebody else, and like it's just an experience that isn't as potent or isn't as powerful as it could be. It has the potential to be, because you're not whole yourself, right? And I feel like just in general, and not to get too off topic, but I just want to say this, just in general, it's like we engage with other people because we are lacking something within ourselves, right? But how I really teach about this subject, I got one of the most taboo subjects, right? It's like, it's so taboo, it's a no-no, but everybody's talking about it in their video. head this, suck dick this, get
Exactly.
dog head in the whip, whatever, you know, it's all about that. But it's like, oh, we can't do that. Oh, but how I see it is that when you present the empowering side to it and you present that you're in control of it and you're actually guiding the experience and how the turnout, like you're responsible for how it turns out. You are. Not the person laying there with the dick. Like you are, like you're creating the experience. So once you understand that you actually have that control, it's like you got to give it your all. You got to go big or go home.
Mm-hmm. I like that term, like you can almost like snatch the soul out of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're in control of his dick. Like you just, you know, before you know it, like he done just drifted off, his eyes rolled back, and like in that moment, you kind of got like power, and I find that very motivating and empowering. I think sometimes the reason why a lot of men may not like a woman's head is because you're nervous, you're thinking too much, like, oh my God, am I doing it right?
You gotta get in the headspace.
Yeah, in your head, and you have a particular part in your book that was on chapter 5 where you talked about proper hygiene is used to keep your spiritual energy sanitized. Many of us can't manifest because we have unclean spiritual energy toxifying us and inhibiting us from progressing our using cleansing agents to spiritually and girl, you got some big words in here. Energetically clean space before I can. So
Yeah.
giving head also like everything they're feeling and going through and stuff like that can actually come off as you're giving a guy a head.
It's an energy exchange. You're literally exchanging spiritual energy, physical energy, all energy with this person, right? So it's like a lot of people, they engage with people and then they wonder why they can't get ahead in life. They wonder why, you know, everything is falling apart. It's kind of like, let's just give it like on a Monday. Let's give a mundane example, right? Have you ever gone to a restaurant and like you go in, you feeling good, you with your friends, you with your man, whatever, and then you leave, you eat the food and then you leave and you're like, I don't feel so good. Like, and it's not like you're physically sick. It's just like your energy is affected because whoever prepared your food could be going through whatever, X, Y, and Z. They could be going through a divorce. They could be upset at their children. They could be stressed out, and they're cooking and putting that energy in your food and you're eating it.
I'm big on it. I've soul tie before. And
really?
I mean, I couldn't sleep. I mean, my was skipping, my cycle didn't come on, and you know, it's very real, and people don't really, you know
understand that because we're not taught about that. We're just taught about the surface level, like, oh, creative energy, manifestation, all that kind. And I'm not saying that's not important. I'm just saying there are levels that support that we need to understand and that we need to talk about. So yeah, the energetic space, like especially on cam, right? Like I'm engaging with a lot of customers on cam. I'm engaging with a lot of people, and they're literally coming out their life force, right? And I don't know who they are. I don't know where they've been. I don't know what is coming out of them, right? So for me to neutralize whatever just came out, right? I got rose water. I spray that. I cleanse my space. I use sage. I use incense.
On too. I keep that on me. My e-vibe bracelet. I don't play about stuff like that.
Okay. So it's like when you understand it at this level, then you understand that it's everything is energy. Everything is energy. It's energy exchange. So whether you're sucking somebody's dick, whether you're camming, you're still exchanging energy with them, and you want to protect yourself.
Yes, and even to people who are watching this, they're thinking, well, you choose to suck dick. You can exchange energy just with your coworkers, saying, hey, shaking their hand, saying, hey, good morning. You're at Starbucks, your coffee, and you have to touch their hand. You can exchange energy like that. So don't be a smart ass if you're watching and you think. So, I sent you a few questions because I knew this episode was coming up, and I just wanted to get other people's opinions on my Instagram story. So I asked a few questions for men and women. And one of the questions that I asked were, men, do you enjoy receiving fellatio? 86% said yes. And surprisingly, only 4% said no. Oh, do you find it odd that some men just don't like getting head?
It's a yes and no for me, Kayla, because it's like, I understand that, I alluded to earlier that like the head game is just so all over the place, right? So you don't know what you're about to get. It's like a box of Cracker Jacks. It's like you have no idea what you're about to get when you engage
Right.
in that, right? And some men have traumatic experiences with getting their dick nicked, bitten, just trauma, right? Because that's a very sensitive area. So it's like once you've done that 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you're like, damn, I'm just gonna give up, man. Just we're not even gonna try it. So it's kind of like they've been defeated, right? So it's like they don't even require it, or they don't even include it in their experience because of all of the bad experiences that they had. But tell them to come to Cam. Tell them to come to Headusa on Cam. I got you. We're gonna revitalize that, okay?
So
Yeah. So I'm not surprised at that. The majority, of course, but yeah.
Is it a deal breaker if a woman doesn't know how to give fellatio? Kind of the same thing, except for 86% said no, 14% said yes. Now, for some reason, I kind of feel like they was lying with this.
Okay, so it really just depends, because it's like there's different types of women, right? And I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm not trying to, put people in boxes or anything like that. But it's like, it's kind of messy out here. You got your main chick, you got your side chick, you got the side chick to the side chick, you got all that, right? So for the main chick, I would say it's mainly, and this, I'm just speaking generally. So if this doesn't apply, let it fly,
Right.
please. All right. So it's like with the main chick, it's like, she's like wifey type, she's like the trophy type. She looks good. She might not have all the skill set. And just because she looks good, that gives her a pass to not have to do those certain things, right? That's how I see it. Then you got the side chick. It's like she's independent, she's just like doing whatever she wants to do. And she might know how to really give you some bomb head, right? She might really, really, really like get in it, but she might not look how you want her to look, or she's just on the side. So it's like, it's not that serious, but it's like you have both of them, right? And it's kind of like they fulfill into like one person, like, because where one person lacks, another person picks up, right? So it's like, I see that, like, if you're looking at a specific type of woman, it's not a deal breaker, because women like, you want me to what? You want me to suck what? Boy, bye, go. No. But then they go over to the side chick and she's like, she's all on it, just like ready to go, So it's just like, it depends on the different type of woman that you're engaging with and what she wants to do. So if
Good take on it too, and I think that's probably the reason why a lot of men do cheat too. I mean, just not satisfied, but you find somebody.
And I'm telling y'all, ladies, if you don't want your dude sneaking, creeping, whatever, it's like this is an area, unless he's been scorned in this area, like we just mentioned, unless he's been traumatized in this area. This is every guy wants their dick sucked, whether he's straight.
I think that too, yeah. And that's
right.
I think some men who have like smaller penises, I don't know, they get a little insecure. They don't even want you to like touch it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that, but yeah, that's a no for me. Like, because I engage with people who have like smaller penises on cam, and they're more so, I don't know if you know about like the submissive men and like femdom, like female domination and financial domination. Do you know anything about those?
No,
like, it's like a whole community. It's a whole lifestyle. Like female domination is kind of like the submissive, the dom, that type of experience.
Did you have that in your book? I know you talked about.
I don't do femdom unless I'm like doing it on cam. Like I'm not really in that community though, but it is a pretty expansive community, especially on Twitter. Like financial domination is pretty much when you engage with men, they give you their money and they get off from giving you their money. And
girl,
I
found one like that. Hell.
That's not necessarily a sugar daddy. Because
he don't want no sex. He just gets off giving you money.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. She said, come here, right? So that's femdom, but then there's female domination where it's like you have submissive men and you do kinks with them. So it's like there's a whole bunch of stuff you could do with them. I don't really want to get into it because that's a whole different topic. Right. But it's like, as with submissive men, they usually have smaller penises. So it's like a lot of them like humiliation. Like they don't want you to touch them, or they want you to humiliate them. They want you to make them feel very small, and they get off of that, right? So yeah, it's interesting, but it's like you can really work with whatever size you have. It's just how I approach it and how I engage with it is different.
And surprisingly, the next question was, ladies, would you try to learn how to master fellatio if it was important to your man? 100% said yes. So ladies, make sure you get the book.
Get these books, I mean.
Get her book, because I watched them. I did watch them, and you know, and I'm a person. This is how I learned. I learned how to give fellatio by watching like porn, watching white women, because for some reason I thought that white women was giving like really good like head, because it seemed like they was connected on a spirit. It seemed like they was connected on a spiritual level other than some porn. So it's just
were they sucking BBC? Were they sucking like black dick? The white chicks?
Yeah.
That's why, girl, come on. Queens of Spades, come on. Because they never seen a dick like that. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, like, yeah, this like they favorite candy bar or whatever. You know? So that's probably why. But I honestly like watching black women give head, honestly. I like watching black women because it's like they just have a flow instead of it being like and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and it's like very methodical. It's like with us, we have more rhythm just naturally. Usually we have more rhythm, so we could just flow through different things and just go from technique to technique. But you got to know what to do, and I give you the puzzle pieces for you to put together so you can know what to do.
Yes.
All right, so that 100%. I'm Headusa.com.
Yes. So next question was, ladies, do you watch porn or webcam series? 80% said yes, and 20% said no. Okay. That's actually higher than actually what I thought. Next question, ladies, do you enjoy giving fellatio? 100% said yes. Shout out to everybody that answered this. I see y'all. Next question, this was kind of like half and half. Men, would you tell your significant other that their fellatio was bad? 57% of men said yes, and 43% said no. So how would you give advice to women who the man be like, you know what, like your head is like, it's hurting me, I don't really like it. Like, what kind of advice would you give like women? Because that hurts your feelings. Your man tell you that your head is trash. Like, would you suggest that they just stop, or like just try to research ways by getting your book, your video tutorial, and learning? Because clearly your man, he wants to enjoy it, but he's telling you, I don't like it, it's trash.
Right. And this is a fine line, right? Because guys, you don't want to be a-holes. You don't want to do that, right? But then you don't want your dick all scraped up either. So I get it. I understand. I would say with that, if you coach her, right? If you tell her, you know, move your head like this, move your hand like this, do that, do that. Then it's more of an inviting type of thing instead of being like, get off me, just turn around, like I would stop. Right? You don't have to be all dramatic and stuff. You can just coach her through what feels good and be like, hey, yeah, like encourage her, like give her positive reinforcement, make her actually want to do it. Right? And if this is your favorite thing, that's what you're gonna do. And you might not know what the different techniques are called, what the different names are. You guys could even get my books, right? And then I have the video tutorials with them because I know people learn differently. We got people that just read, people that just watch, and a combination of both. So you guys can even watch the tutorials together and be like, oh, okay, so she did this. Okay, try this. And it's like a step-by-step thing. It's like you're working together instead of just a you versus me thing.
Yeah, the videos are good because you went in slow motion, so you're able to actually see exactly what you were doing. That's great advice.
Right.
Yeah, man,
you want to reinforce her. You want to give her encouragement because a lot of women are sensitive. Like with me, I suck dick in a certain way. I'm very assertive with it, so it's like you just about to get this work. But a lot of women aren't like that. They're already nervous about doing it. They're already like apprehensive. They're already like, I don't know. So it's like when you make them feel comfortable, when you make them feel supported, then they're gonna open up more. It's kind of like a little kid. It's like you have to invite a little kid to be like, no, it's okay. No, come play with us. No, it's cool.
Right.
Like, and then once you invite them, give them that permission, then they'll be like themselves. They'll be comfortable. That's kind of the same thing that you want to do with engaging with someone, sucking your dick.
That's only a supportive man. I think a man that you're just smashing, he's probably in a rush and he probably don't really care about your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, with that, it's just like it is what it is. You gotta take the L, man. Take it on the chin and just don't let that happen again.
Yes. And then next, men, do you watch porn or webcam series? 67% said yes. 33% said no.
You know, 33% is lying. That girl probably checking their stories. You answered what on this what? You answered this what on this poll?
I feel like the women were truthful, but for some reason I feel like the men, I feel like because I know who voted, because I get to see who voted and stuff like that, but I feel like the women were more truthful, and I feel like we women, of course you want to make your man feel good, so them wanting to learn and them watching porn, like they want to do what they can do to actually their man, and I think that's great. That's great. So what made you want to even create this whole series? Because I think that these books are honestly helping women, because normally women who don't know how to, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think a lot of women out there are scared to even talk about sex. I don't know why. You can't even talk about playing, masturbating, watching porn. A lot of them get about it. So they won't come to their friend and be like, girl, you know how to master head? So I think buying a book or getting video tutorials seems more safer. Nobody really knows that you're watching and nobody knows you're reading the book. So was that whole goal was to help women who may not feel comfortable going to their homegirl and be like, hey girl, I know you're a master at something. Can you help me out?
Yeah, and then another thing is they might go to their friend and their friend might be great, but they don't know how to explain it to them. So they just hit a dead end, right? And I do want to say that in society, feminine energy in general and female sexual energy is very it's considered to be evil. It's considered, and this is just mainstream, negative. If a woman gets raped, it's like, oh, she shouldn't have been wearing that. Whereas it's not on the man, right? So it's just just in mainstream society, and this is transitioning, right? It's pretty much everything that's been going on, especially the last 2 years, it's a great awakening. It's kind of like a death and rebirth type of thing, right? So it's the more male dominated dynamic in sex is female energy is bad, it's evil, it's taboo, it's all these negative things, but it's literally life force energy. It's a literally creative energy. It literally births and gives imagination to what's created in physical reality, right? So it's just we've been taught to stay away from it and that it's bad in religion and all these kinds of things. But it's with me and how I am, if somebody tells me not to do something, I'm gonna run and do it. I'm gonna just go and see for myself, why are you telling me not to do this, right? So that's kind of the type of signaling or type of alarm that I wanted to awaken in people, where it's okay, I'm talking about one of the most taboo subjects, right? But how am I talking about it? In what way am I talking about it? And how can you change your perspective that's been conditioned by one way, the mainstream way, the main type of way? How can you get more insight on this other perspective? So then you can decide whether you want to fuse the two together, whether you want to just go on one side or the other, but you have both sides of the story instead of just going and running with that one already promoted narrative that's just tired. It's dead. It's tired, right?
I agree with you. Yes. I think a lot of Black churches too. I mean, I think I talked about this on somebody else's shows. They got us scared to even touch ourselves. I always feel if you can't touch your own body, you don't know what your own.
How are you going to explain to somebody else? How are you going to, if you don't know yourself, how are you going to engage with someone else?
I agree.
And it's just we're taught, don't do this, don't do that, don't. So I'm going to do it and I'm going to see it and I'm going to let you know how it is. And that's what I do in my book series is I let you know, yes, this is what's taught, but you have to unlearn to relearn. That's what I'm challenging you to do. My type of material is for people with the eyes to see and the ears to hear. If you don't vibe with it, it's cool. It's not for you. You're not ready. at that point in time, and it's okay. Like, there's no judgment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you are ready and you want to open yourself more to what your sexual energy is, what your creative energy is, how they work together, then you can take that journey and you can create that journey for yourself, by yourself, so that you are empowered, not only in this area, but just in life in general. Like, it unlocks and opens several doors for you to really love yourself, accept yourself, and trust yourself that you know what's best for you. You create boundaries for you.
I agree.
And then you engage with other people. It's very important to know thyself. And a lot of like mastery, like programs and religions, they teach you about that in their core like commandments or beliefs or systems, but it's like it's lost in translation, it seems like, when we're getting taught about it like in a mass type of perspective. It's like you have to read it and find it and seek it for yourself instead of it being taught to you over and over again. Like, I think that especially religion, it teaches people to be followers a lot instead of like having their own original thoughts, having their own original type of thinking or their own original type of perspective.
I agree. I like the fact that we got onto this too, because when I tell people stuff like this, they don't understand. That's kind of why I kind of hated going to church as a kid, because I'm more spiritual now. Because I was like, okay, well, I want to look into other religions and see why like they believe in this God and why they believe in that. And you know, when the church is like everybody just goes by what the pastor says, it's kind of they all roll together, whatever.
Crowd together. Just in a herd. And it's like, I'm not coming at that. It's fine if that is your path. That is your path. I'm an outlier. Yeah. So I'm sharing with you my outlier experience, and then you can, get empowered yourself, right? And then you can become inspired to share that with other people.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. Like, and then even, we're getting closer towards the end of the show, and I'm pretty sure people are just real judgmental. Oh, I can't stand judgmental people, girl. And people probably saw the title, didn't know where we was going with this, but they may have had a misconception about you at the beginning of the interview, but at the end, they probably like, wow, you know what I'm saying? She's a
Let me go ahead to this website.
This woman. So what like misconception do you think that webcam artists, webcam models, and even porn stars get that you want to set the record straight on?
Got you. I'd say the biggest thing that people say about webcamming is that it's not a real job. They're like, you need to go get a real job. You need to go do that. And it's like, am I not making real money?
Right.
I'm making real money. I'm not making Monopoly money. I'm not making chips and coins.
Not Usher bucks neither, okay, people?
Right, Usher bucks. I heard about that. I'm like, what is this? Okay, anyways, but it's like I'm not making fake money. I'm making real money. I can pay bills with it. So I have to pay taxes, right? As a webcam performer, you have to pay taxes. So just understand, it's real, right? It's like we are the rebels in society, or we are the outcasts in society, but they still want our tax money, right? So hey, it's legal work, right? So I honestly find that this is one of the funniest misconceptions, because not only does this career path take work, take effort, it also takes skills that many people don't have, even if they try to do it. And again, by doing this, you get paid. You set your own schedule. You're your own boss. You can work any time of day, any time of night that you want to. All you got to do is log in and press broadcast now, and you get paid well for it, right? Another misconception that I talked about is the OnlyFans thing, right? And just understanding that you have to direct your own traffic to the site. Also understanding that it's more of a long end process. It's a long end game. It's a journey. It's a slow build. It takes time to build your following up. So being patient with yourself, understanding that it's not just like a get rich quick scheme. You're not going to get frustrated and you're not going to get burnt out as much if you approach it like that, instead of approaching it like they're talking about in the songs and in society. So those are the two main misconceptions that I want to talk about.
I think that's especially the OnlyFans advice, because I think a lot of girls, sometimes we look at like the Instagram models who already had 500,000 followers. So you see they're living good off OnlyFans, but you don't put in perspective that, okay, They
But
already have.
they have brand ambassadorships, like they have a lot of different streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
So then they just started OnlyFans. Like it's like OnlyFans is like you want to look at it as like another stream of income first and foremost, and
Right.
then if it becomes your main source of income, that's cool. But you don't want to put all your eggs just in that basket. Like when you see these Instagram models or these OnlyFans models or webcam performers even doing this, and it's not. I want to say OnlyFans just isn't about sex work, like the sex industry. It can be about other things as well. You just have fans, like you want to promote your content to your fans and get paid for it, right? So it just doesn't have to be about sex. So with that being said, I was going to say that you want to pretty much do it as like, I don't want to say necessarily a side hustle, but just like a budding business. You know how like some people are entrepreneurs and they start their own product line or whatnot. It's like, yeah, you could sell a whole bunch of product right at the beginning, but you're probably not going to do that. You have to promote, you have to build, you have to engage with other people for them to want to buy it. You have to create an experience for people for them to want to engage with you. So
Exactly.
keeping that in mind and understanding that it's a slow build, you won't get frustrated, you won't get burnt out. Your expectations won't get shot down.
I think that's great advice, especially to a lot of ladies who want to start an OnlyFans. I think that was some great advice that Hedusa gave you all. Now, you know, you are a webcam artist, but you are a businesswoman too. So I think that your brand is much different than some women who just log on, you know, do what they got to do and they get off. But you're out here and get yourself on these shows. So when was it for you where you was like, you know what, I'm good at giving head, but I'm also good at being a businesswoman? Like, when was it for you? It was like, I'm going to combine the two, and I'm going to be my own boss, build my brand. Because you had a great chapter in your webcam creative artist and performer route perspective book where you broke it down on creating your brand, your niche. Like, I was like, you don't even have to be a webcam artist. Any businesswoman can take little things out of in a everyday life.
Right. And that's how I wanted to write it, to just like from an objective point of view, like taking the sex out of it, taking the taboo out of it, and just giving you the fish and you spitting out the bones. Like I just wanted you to give you the real deal Holyfield so that you can apply it to anything you want to, right? Even if you just want to do webcamming part-time, which I don't really suggest that. I'm like, that's just my thing is I go big or go home. Like I'm gonna give it my all or I'm just not gonna do it. But some women, they want to do this part-time. That's totally fine. But it's like, even if you just do it part-time, you can still apply that to other areas of your life, other businesses that you may have, even corporate life, right? So when I realized it's more about branding, it's more about becoming your own boss, is I realized that you have to lay a solid foundation for yourself and you have to build from that foundation. Like, and there are two main like building blocks that I give people. It's like, if you're going to get into this industry, right, the sex industry in general, you have to have a persona. That's the first foundation block. You have to have a persona that is your own, that is natural to you, that is substantial to grow, for you to grow through and evolve through, so that you're not capping yourself, right? I feel like a lot of people, they just choose names and they're like, that sounds good, but it has no backing, it has no basis, and then they just like flake out because there's nothing that's anchoring them to continuing and remaining consistent with that persona, right? So you want it to be like the right fit where it's like not choking you, but it's not too loosey-goosey, where you can still have some guidance and you can have a niche that you focus on, right? And the second building block is to specialize, right? When I say specialize, I talk about just having like one main specialty, right? You have one main one, then you have a number two, and then you can do other things if you want to do that, right? So for example, with Hedusa, my main one is I'm a master oralist, right? I'm a dick sucking expert. I have a secondary one, and then I have the supporting other ones, right? So you want to have something that you're known for, something that when people think about you, your persona, your name, they can relate it to, oh, this is what she's a specialist in, right? Not just doing everything. You want to be great at a few things, not just average at everything, right? Yeah. So these are like the two building blocks that I really find that are important for you to lay your foundation from. Then you can focus on things like your logo, starting your social media, building your social media, choosing what sites you want to cam on, or what part of the sex industry that you want to focus on. But you have to have these two things locked and loaded first.
I think that's really great advice too, because like for example, there's a lot of porn stars like Pinky, like that pink hair is like epic. That's legendary. Like you will always think of her in that pink hair. That was her thing.
Mm-hmm.
So branding yourself, it don't matter if you are a sex worker or if you are trying to be you're just trying
entrepreneur, whatever.
Ain't baking cookies,
Right.
anytime your brand is everything, but you got to do the research. You
Right.
got to be about it. And so before we actually close the episode out, what's one thing that you want to just leave everybody with before we close the episode out? I think that was great also.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. This is great. I love this interview. It was dope. So at the beginning, I would say at the beginning of you starting your career in the sex industry, whether that's in webcamming and porn, you're a content creator, it's important to determine what your why is. Like why, asking yourself questions like, why are you starting this journey? Why are you choosing to do this day in and day out? I stress in both of my book series that your why is a decision that you can only make for yourself. It needs to be deep enough for you to continue to push, to drive, and stay motivated to remain consistent. You have to remain consistent in this industry as well. There's a lot of money, and specifically the webcamming industry. And if you're able to get your ducks in a row as far as specializing, getting your performance routines together, remaining consistent, having multiple streams of income, which I mentioned before, you're really able to create like a flow and filtration system to funnel people into spending money with you, right? If they're not about cam life, then they can buy your content. If they're not about that, then they can buy a book from you. If they're not about that, they can do a consultation. You want to be able to engage with people in the way that they want to engage with you, right? But you want it to be general enough so you're not just like overworking yourself, but you want to have a lot of different options. So what resonates with one person, that resonates with them. What resonates with another person, that resonates with them, right? But it all stems from your why and you being consistent with that why. So you can only answer that for yourself. And once you answer that, once you solidify that, you can always come back to that, refer back to that when you don't feel like working, when you're feeling down and out, when you're feeling not your best, right? Because it's not like we're always just on 100%, like, yes, I can't wait to do this every single day, the same thing. And it's like, when you aren't feeling so hot, you remember your why, and then you get inspired, because I'm sure you have goals, you have short-term, long-term goals that you want to achieve, and you have to remain consistent in order to achieve them.
That is amazing. I think that right there is probably going to help even a lot of people who may be feeling like, okay, I don't want to do this or that. You got to think about why you're passionate about it, why you're even doing it. I tell people this all the time. It's like people who want to get in even my industry, like why you want to do it. If you can't answer me why you want to do it, you don't need to be doing it. You're not ready.
Yeah, just answer, like you have to answer that for yourself. You're not doing it because X, Y, and Z says so and so, because X, Y, and Z can change. People change. People fail you. Like we hear about this all the time. People fail you, people this. So it's like you want your why to be something that's personalized to you, that's important to you, that is made by you. So you blame yourself when things go wrong. You rely on yourself when things go right.
Oh, girl. Yes, I didn't even know we was gonna click like this, because I swear to God, I no my way. Like I depend on myself. Like I really applaud that. Like I'll depend on myself. I'm going to be the person that get me to where I got to be. So I can't blame it. But like, oh, you're the reason why I'm not successful. No, I'm putting my success in my own hands, and that goes for everybody, no matter what career field that you're doing. That was a great show. Headusa, it was really nice meeting you.
Yes.
I told you it was gonna be no judgment. One thing about me, I'm all about girl empowerment. I don't care how you get your money. All I want is us women to get our own money and not depending on nobody. Cause there's a lot of money out here to be made. As long as you ain't hurting nobody, you ain't killing nobody, your money, and anybody else in your field, get your money, okay? And ladies, stop being so judgmental, everybody, all the time, okay?
Yeah, and I just want to say just a couple last things, Kayla. I do want to say thank you so much for inviting me and having me on your platform just to like authentically speak about everything and just share about what I do, what I've created and everything. And thank you everybody for listening. You know, take from it what you will. All right. And I like to speak to people based on their like subconscious level. So it's like, even if you don't agree on the conscious level with anything I said, your subconscious is still taking it in and it's still being applied. Okay. Just keep that in mind. But I do want to say, like, again, all of my products, all of my services, you can find them in one place. I have 2 different book series, which again are the official blowjob handbook, the official webcam handbook series. I have an OnlyFans. I do Skype shows with people as well, where I perform on cam for them. I do virtual education, blowjob education sessions with people, with my clients. I have clips for sale, my Pornhub, my social media. It's all housed under my website, which is iamhedusa.com. That's I as in ice, A as in apple, M as in money, Hedusa, HEAD as in door, USA.com. So thank you again, Kayla. Thank you again, everyone. I appreciate it.
Hey, y'all. Just want to say thank you so much for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, hit that subscription button. I am grateful for every view, whether you like me or you don't. And don't forget, I got a podcast too. There are exclusive episodes on that podcast, so don't forget to go check that out as well. They're on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Baby, I'm everywhere, okay? And follow me on social media. I'm Kayla Got the 411 on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr. Baby, like I said, I'm everywhere. Thank you again for watching the show, and I'll see you on the next episode of Kayla Got the 411.